Hi everyone, thanks for joining us. As part of our ongoing partnership with Latitude, I am thrilled today to welcome Sigrid to the studio, one of Norway's biggest ever pop exports. Sigrid will be playing Latitude for the third time in a matter of weeks, having first played the festival in 2017, which was the same year that she announced herself to the world with the brilliant, the defiant Don't Kill My Vibe. Since then, she has released 2 critically venerated albums, Sucker Punch and How to Let Go, and she's now back with an excellent new single, Jellyfish. Sigrid, thanks for coming.
Thank you.
And welcome.
Thanks so much for having me. That was a very lovely introduction.
Oh, thank you. I wrote it myself. Your new single's out on Friday. It's the first new single in almost 2 years. Did you approach writing Jellyfish differently from your previous music? Was there a shift in how vulnerable or direct you allowed yourself to be?
I mean, it's quite similar to how I always write. I was in Oslo. It was in a studio, an attic studio in the summer 2 years ago. We wrote it before the Hype EP was released. It was me and Ashel, who's one of my best friends and who's been a collaborator of mine for years. We wrote Dynamite together, Side of You from my first campaign. But yeah, we were in this attic studio. It was summer, very like, you know, Scandinavian summer. The temperature is just perfect. It's not too hot, it's not too cold. It was very sunny that day and we were playing at the piano. He had the acoustic guitar. And then we just started humming, singing, jamming. And I can't remember how the melody came out. I guess we were just humming together and it just came and it immediately felt catchy and hooky and very sweet and quite vulnerable. And then we watched Napoleon Dynamite for inspo. So we had that on in the background whilst making the song. And I remember for the title, we knew like, go on, move like and then I couldn't come up with what it should be. And Ashel was like, Jellyfish. And I was like, what? You can't say that in a song. He was like, yeah, you can.
That's challenge accepted.
Challenge accepted. And then, yeah, I went with it. And yeah, it was really nice, very natural.
You also co-produced it.
Yes.
So how did that change the process, or if at all?
Doesn't really change a thing. I've been co-producing my whole career. It's just I'm being credited for it now. Finally. That's the difference. Working with someone like Ashel is one of the best things that has happened to me. We've always been working together. He's always been like an anchor for me throughout my whole career. We've done all of the acoustic versions on all records I've done has been with Ashel. And it's always felt very playful when we've worked together. It doesn't feel like work. It feels like 2 kids. We're just 2 kids in a crowded room. That's me and Ashel. It's a very strong friendship. And it also feels with Ashel like it's not that important what roles we have. Sometimes he's the artist in the room and sometimes I feel more like a producer. Sometimes I feel like the writer and he feels like the producer. It's just very fluid. It's not important who does what, which I do think is sometimes can make writing situations more difficult when I feel like the roles are quite set when you walk into a room, when it's not opening up for challenging each other to look at something from a different point of view. Like the worst case scenario for me is like in a studio session and the producer is like this with the Mac in front and going over the shoulder like, how are you getting on with the verse?
Yeah, presumably a bit difficult to be then vulnerable and, you know. Like,
yeah.
Exactly. So you've always had a strong sense of self, you know, ever since that first single. And probably
at least publicly.
But has writing this past year taught you anything new about who you are and what you want to do next?
Yeah. I want to have fun with it. Well, I was 16 when I came into the music industry in Norway. I released my first song that I wrote probably 3 weeks before it was released on Norway's version of BBC Introducing. I was kind of thrown into it, but still at just a Norwegian level, which was really nice. And I'm so glad I went that route because it could have been so many other routes to the music industry. Then I became 19. I released Don't Kill My Vibe. And it was quite intense. It was amazing. I'm so thankful for all of it, obviously. But it's kind of going through a washing machine. And I think on the second album, I really wanted to be taken seriously, I think. and I put a lot of heavy pressure on myself maybe to make like serious big songs or something. And I think with Jellyfish, there's this new ease. I'm having fun again, I think. Yeah. I think you can hear it in the song. I'm not trying to sing perfectly.
There's obviously a vein of like kind of satire and humour running through this song as well. And obviously I've seen the video as well, which is really glorious.
Thanks. Yeah, that was one.
Many of your fans have grown up with you. How do you think this new music speaks to your own coming of age? As you say, it's about having more fun. How has it affected the way that you've created the music itself, as well as the way that you've approached just, doing publicity around this stuff?
I think I'm also taking the piss out of myself a bit as well with this new music.
Yeah.
Trying not to take myself too seriously, and allowing myself to not always be the hero in the situation maybe. I think it's impossible to not think about the end product when you are in the studio. You can say as much as you want that you want to feel completely free and not think about the audience or what people will think or say about your music when you're creating. But I guess because my first single got so much attention, I knew from the get-go that whatever I released wasn't just going to be me, my parents, and my sister and brother that were going to listen to it. Maybe it would be more. And then, of course, you have the other side of it that, you never know how many will listen to it, if it goes up or if it goes down. I think that end side of it has always been a part of me, both positively and negatively. I guess the negative side of it is thinking how you present yourself, as we all do on social media. I feel like everyone's like a mini celebrity now on social media. And then the positive side is that I always want to create something that can add some value to others. And going back to everyone who's grown up with me, with my music alongside me as well. And I'm excited to see everyone tomorrow at the launch event in London. Can't wait. But yeah, I want to create something that can be a source of joy, can help you in a way in your everyday life. That's how it is for me. Walking through London today with my headset and listening to a song that becomes the soundtrack of my day. Today was Losing You, Solange.
Yeah.
Soundtrack of the day.
Proper spring in your step.
Yeah.
Sun's out. Yeah. Okay. I get that.
What was your song today, if you had one?
Jellyfish by Sigrid. So listen to it all times today.
Sick.
You've become a festival favourite over the years. That's fair to say. What do you love most about playing festivals?
Oh, it's the best. I love festivals. I really do. And my booking agent loves me for it. But I think my favorite thing about festivals is that, first of all, I get to meet a lot of colleagues, which is really nice, backstage. I love the festivals, especially the European ones, where everyone shares the canteen, and you'll see all bands and artists of different sizes just roaming around backstage doing their thing. That's always really lovely. And all the crews, all the musicians, la-di-da, that's nice. And then I love sharing the stage with everyone else as well, knowing that there's someone on before me and after me maybe. Yeah, I love that.
Can you remember the things that you've really enjoyed seeing at festivals?
Like bands?
Yeah. What were the kind of real life-changing experiences for you when you were younger?
I remember, Neil Young is probably the artist I've seen the most times. I was gutted to not be there at Glasgow to see him now. But I've seen him 5-6 times, so it's fine. That has been really important. I remember playing the same festival as Tame Impala. Yeah. Being a big one. I think it was Osheaga in Canada. Yeah. And I just remember thinking oh my God, I've made it. I'm on the same festival as my heroes. Oh, another one. Okay, that's the biggest concert of my life. I was there for Beychella.
Oh yeah.
Beyonce, Coachella. I was there. I was playing the same weekend as her. That was insane. That is probably the best concert I've ever been to.
Okay, fair enough. And what about the standout from playing from Latitude? Obviously, first time was in 2017.
Yeah.
What's the sort of abiding memories of playing Latitude over the years?
I love any festival that has a bit of nature in it. I remember the first year we played on a stage in the woods. Yeah. I love that. I remember we were rowing in a rowboat to get back and forth from the backstage. Great. And I also remember being in a portable toilet, portaloo, right, 2 minutes before I go on stage, and it was like sideways.
Well, like
down a hill.
Like Pisa, I was like, oh god.
I was just thinking like, I hope this is fine, or do I have to cancel the show?
I've heard some real horror stories. A friend of mine actually was at Reading Festival once, and they were in a portico and over pushed over. Yeah, you can imagine how that one ended for them.
Did they go on stage?
No, they weren't. They weren't performing. They were just
just hanging out.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's fair to say that their festival experience was pretty much tainted by that.
Yeah, I've seen some things at UK festivals.
Yeah.
UK festivals is different level. The first time I went to Reading in Leeds, I was shocked.
Well, Reading and Leeds can kind of become a little bit feral, can't it? It's like Lord of the Flies. Or like everyone releases gets their GCSE results and they suddenly run amok. It's like they get away from their parents for the first time ever.
I've never seen that many people being like taken out of the audience.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild. But yeah, Latitude is so wonderful, really lovely. I love that woods part. I'm gonna go back there now.
If there's a festival goers catch your set this year, are there any surprises or emotional moments planned?
You can't say that. You can't plan an emotional moment. That's the thing. You can't plan candid moments, but I get why you're asking. But I'll say this. We played Rock Werchter a couple days ago in Belgium. That was amazing. I haven't released any music, or I haven't released any music of my own for 2 years now, I think. Hadn't really done any promo before the festival. Show up there, it's this tent, 20,000 capacity. I've been told later by my management that there were 28,000 people, so 8,000 outside the tent that couldn't come in. And I got a bit emotional on stage. I did, because you can't plan it, but I was hoping that people would show up, because I think I'm great live. My humble opinion is that I know that we do deliver. I give it my all on stage. It's my favorite thing to do, but to see that many people showed up and everyone was singing along was super special, and made me feel confident again that I do think, if anything, maybe I'm a bit of like word of mouth artist, that you know that when you go to a show of mine, you know you're going to have a good time.
Do you find the energy of a festival audience affects how you perform on stage?
Absolutely.
Mosh pits and people crowd surfing?
Oh, 100%. I would love to see a safe and cozy mosh pit. That's what I aim to do. But I feel like I have a surprising amount of mosh pits at my show. I did a show recently in Norway. They were mosh pitting to Dynamite, my ballad. I don't know just how, but okay, go off. But yeah, I think festivals are definitely, it's something special. It feels like everyone is there for a set amount of time, taking time off work and becoming this bubble. That I think it's easy to laugh at like the importance of what we do in music, but I do think community and connection between people is really important.
Yeah. This is not so much an existential question, but
no.
Sigrid of 2 years ago, how does she compare to you right now? And
Mate.
and what can we expect in the next few months?
Me 2 years ago, what was I doing? I was touring. I haven't had any years of touring. I still managed to do some concerts in COVID even. I am really finding back to the joy of writing. Not that I haven't, been happy with it, but I think there's always ups and downs with everything, with every job. But I'm really, really proud and happy with the stuff I'm making now. And I think one thing that's really helped, I was just a bit stuck with like what to write, what to say, la-di-da. I was sick of myself because my work is me, myself, and I all the time. Yeah. And I just needed to get out of my head a bit. And he was like, well, me and some friends, we're going to do this writing week in Bergen. You should come to just write for pitch, write to others. And it really got me out of it. So that's my recommendation to anyone who is struggling to write. Just pretend you're not writing for yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did end up getting a song for myself, though. That's okay. Because I wasn't thinking.
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking that it needed to be perfect or needed to be for me.
That's a bit like a lot of things in life. It's like almost like romance. It usually happens when you're looking at, but you're not looking for it. Just as when you're looking the other way.
True.
I think that's a nice note to end on. A reminder that Latitude is running from 24th to 27th of July. Sigrid's new single, Jellyfish, is out this Friday. Thanks again, Sigrid.
Thanks for having me.